Today's lesson, like I said earlier, is entitled The Everlasting Covenant for Mankind. And that's what we're going to be dealing with. Because see, the covenants are not just for Israel, but it's for mankind. And I know God did give the covenant to the children of Israel, but it's for everybody though. Everybody wants to serve the living God. So we're going to start off though. We're going to start off with the first covenant that God gave man. And you can still see the evidence of this covenant today. You can still see the token of this covenant today. All over the world. Man, that water tastes good. Okay, so we're going to go to Genesis, the 9th chapter, Genesis 9. And we're going to pick it up at verse 8. Genesis 9 and 8. And we're going to look at the first covenant that God gave to men. And so, at this time, there was no Israelite. And not only did he make the covenant with men at this time, but he made the covenant with the animals and the creeping things as well. So we at Genesis 9. Genesis 9, pick up at verse 8. Now this is when Noah and his descendants came off the ark as well as the animals and the birds and the creeping things. They came off the ark at this time. So we're not going to read that part. We're just going to get down to what we come in for. So that's Genesis 9, and we're going to pick up at verse 8. Genesis 9 and 8. Go ahead and read.
And God spake unto Noah and to his sons with him, saying, And I, behold, I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you.
So he said, I'm going to establish my covenant with you and your seed after you. And we are the seed of Noah. So he established his covenant with all men. Right? Because all men came out of Adam. Then once the flood happened, then the rest of the people came out of who? Noah and his 3 sons. Go ahead and read. So this covenant is with all men. Go ahead and read.
And with every living creature that is with you, of the fowl, of the cattle, of every beast on the earth with you.
See, so he's making this covenant with the beasts of the earth and the fowls and everything, right? Go ahead and read.
From all that go out of the ark to every beast of the earth. And I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of the flood. Neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth.
Go ahead.
And God said, This is the token of the covenant which I made between me and you.
This is the token of this covenant that I'm making with you. Go ahead and read.
And every living creature that is with you for a perpetual generation.
For what?
For a perpetual generation.
So this covenant is forever. This is an everlasting covenant. So we're going to find out what the word perpetual means. So when God said, this is a token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for a perpetual generations. Go ahead and read.
I do set my bow in the clouds, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth.
Now, you can see that today. And notice something. The earth has not flooded again. So we know that this covenant is still in existence. Now, if this covenant is still in existence and God calls it perpetual covenant, then why would you have a problem with the circumcision and that covenant? Because you can see evidence after a good rain even today. God set his bow in the cloud. And what does his bow mean? Read that verse 13 again.
I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of the covenant between me and the earth. And it shall come to pass, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud.
See? So can't you still see a bow in the cloud sometimes? You got other people using this as another symbol, but this is God's symbol right here. I ain't going to get into that. Excuse me. But, this is God's symbol right here. He said, I'm going to put my bow in the clouds. Right? And you see that bow in the clouds after good rain, right? Even today in this generation. Now, we're looking at some this Noah's, I guess Noah's back around 2348 BC, around that time. So we're talking like the 24th century BC. And here we are some 4,000 years later, and we still see this bow in the clouds. Just like God said. Go ahead and read.
15.
See, God don't break his covenant. Man break covenants. God don't break the covenant. Go ahead and read.
And I will remember my covenant, which is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. And the waters shall no more become a flood to destroy all flesh.
Have you seen a flood? We haven't seen no more floods. We know there was a flood because how do you get all the fossils in the earth, embedded in the earth? I mean, they find in woolly mammoths intact. Intact. Well, how do you think that, fossils of insects and plants and everything, how do you think that they got embedded and how do you think they got fossilized? There was a flood. But we haven't seen a flood since then, since this one. Just like God promised. And he gave you a token of that covenant by showing you that bow in the cloud after a good rain. Go ahead and read.
16. And the bow shall be in the clouds, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant.
You see that? God. He said it's an everlasting covenant. An everlasting covenant. Go ahead.
That I may remember an everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, this is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. Now,
this covenant is everlasting. Like I said, we can see this evidence of this even in this generation. Let's go. We're going to look up the word covenant. So we're going to World Book Dictionary. We're going to look up the word covenant.
Covenant. A solemn agreement between two or more persons or groups. Compact.
You know how you make a pact with somebody or you make a league with somebody. You do this and I'll do that. And, okay, man. Y'all shake hands or y'all write it down or whatever. And you all come into a contract together. Go ahead.
A rival nation signed a covenant to reduce their arguments.
No, just what's that like?
Okay. In the Bible, the solemn promises of God to man as he set forth in the Old Testament, the Old and New Testament, a compact between God and man.
A compact between God and man. See, not just Israel, but man. And this covenant we just saw, that covenant with man and the beast, the creeping things, every living thing. Now we're going to look up the word token. See if I can find it. I suppose that. See if we're going to find the word token. Y'all bear with me for a second. Okay. Here we go. Here we go, right over here. Can you see that? Looks like it faded out a little bit. What is a token?
Anything.
Can you see it?
That's hard.
Let me see it.
All right.
What's my magnifying glass?
That is hard to see.
Okay. Anything indicative of some other thing. A visible sign, an indication, evidence, a symbol. So that's basically what we're dealing with, something that is a symbol, right? Just like he said, I'm going to put my bow in the sky. That is a symbol letting us know, and God looking upon that symbol saying, look, I'm not going to flood the earth anymore. So it is a sign. It is a symbol. Like I said earlier, other people using that rainbow, they don't understand what it really means. Now, we're going to look up the word Perpetual. I know I had that one. Let me see. Did I? Let me see. Man, I must have been really spaced out this morning, looking at all that snow. Okay, perpetual. Usually I have this already. Let's see. Here we go, perpetual.
Same kind of words.
Oh, you want me to read it?
Please.
Okay. All right. I got on my bifocals today. Perpetual, continuing or lasting, forever or for an unlimited time. So perpetual means it's for an unlimited time. It's forever lasting. Does everybody understand? So that's why I named this lesson Everlasting Covenants, because these covenants that we are dealing with today are everlasting. They are not just for Israel, but they are for mankind. And if you're not under these covenants or following these covenants, then you're not worshiping the God of Israel. Because God is a covenant God. And these covenants you must follow. His covenants. You must follow his covenants. Now, you know, the rainbow, like I say, that's a symbol. And this is not the first time that the Lord, or the only time that the Lord used the rainbow as his symbol. Let's go to Ezekiel, the first chapter, Ezekiel 1. Ezekiel 1, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Then we're going to skip. Ezekiel 1 and 1. You got it, Rob?
Yep.
Go ahead and read it.
Now it came to pass in the 13th year, in the 4th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I was among the captives by the river of Chebar, that the heavens were open, and I saw visions of God.
Skip down to verse 26. Skip down to verse 26. So we're not going to read all this that he saw, but skip to verse 26. Go ahead.
And above the firmament that was over their heads was likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone. And upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as...
Now he's getting a vision of heaven right here. And so now he's looking at this throne in heaven. And above the firmament that was over their heads was likeness of a throne in the appearance of sapphire stone.
And upon the likeness of the throne was the likeness as the appearance of a man above upon it.
Now he said he saw a man upon this throne. What else did he see? Go ahead.
And I saw as the color of amber, as the appearance of fire round about within, from the appearance of his loins even upward, and from the appearance of his loins even downward.
Go ahead.
I saw as it were appearance of fire, and it had brightness round about, as the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain.
Oh, stop right there. You see what he said? As the appearance of the bow that is in the cloud in the day of rain. So he's looking at a rainbow around his throne. Go ahead and read.
So was the appearance of the brightness round about. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. And when I saw it, I fell upon my face, and I heard a voice of one that spake. So
he saw this throne, he saw the Lord sitting on the throne, and he saw a bow around this throne. A bow around this throne. See, this is the Lord's symbol right here. So I don't know why, you got men using this as a symbol now. But this is the Lord's symbol right here. Let's look at it one more time. Let's go to Revelation, the 4th chapter. Now we're all the way down, this is all the way down to Revelation, the 4th chapter, and you're going to see this same bow right here. Revelations 4, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Revelations 4:1. Go ahead and read.
After this I looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven. And the first voice which I heard was as it were of a trumpet talking with me, which said, come up hither, and I will show the things, thy things, which must be hereafter. And immediately I was in the spirit.
Now he said, I'm going to show you things that must be hereafter. Now he in the spirit now because he's not going up. He's in the vision. Go ahead and read.
And immediately I was in the spirit. And behold, a throne was set in heaven. And one sat on the throne.
Oh, this one sitting on the throne again. Up in heaven. What was around that throne? Go ahead.
And he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and sardine stone.
Go ahead.
And there was a rainbow round about the throne.
It was a rainbow around about the throne.
In sight like unto an emerald.
Now look, here's that rainbow around the throne again. And someone sitting on this throne, or the Lord sitting on this throne with a rainbow around it. Now, so we're going to go off the lesson for a little bit right here. Because men think that when you read in Exodus, or we're going to read that the children of Israel are going to be in the land for 400 years, they think that's talking about America. And I'm going this way for a reason, because I'm going to take you right back. Okay? So men think that this is talking about America. So you hear the Israelites say this all the time, that the 400 years, that's us here in America. But I'm here to show you that that's not talking about us here in America. That is talking about the children of Israel when they were in Egypt. Now I'm taking you this way because I'm going to bring it back. Okay? So just follow me. All right, let's go to Genesis, the 15th chapter. Genesis 15. Genesis 15, and we're going to pick up at verse 1. Genesis 15 and 1. Genesis 15 and 1. Everybody got it? Go ahead and read it.
After these things, the word of the Lord came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. And Abram said unto the Lord God, What wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless? And the steward of my house is this Eleazar of Damascus. And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thine own bowels shall be thine heir.
Now Abraham at this time, him and Sarah, they were old in their 90s. And he's like, the Lord telling them one's going to come forth out of your bowels. He's going to be your heir. Go ahead and read.
And he brought him forth abroad and said, Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be. Your
seed is going to be as a number of the stars, Abraham. Abraham, 90-something years old. So he had to be like, what? Go ahead and read.
And he believed in the Lord.
And he believed in the Lord. Go ahead.
And he counted it to him for righteousness. And he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees, to give thee this land to inherit it. Skip down to verse 13. Skip to verse 13. Look at what else he's going to tell him. Go ahead and read. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surely that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs.
See, so he's supposed to be talking about us. We are strangers in a land that is not ours. And, we are strangers in a land that's not ours. But this is not talking about us in this generation. Go ahead and read.
And shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
How many years?
400.
400 years they shall be afflicted. Well, it's past 400 years for us. Our people have been in this country for over 400 years. Go ahead and read some more.
14. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. And afterwards shall they come out with great substance.
Because when the Lord comes back and judges, he's not going to just judge this country. He's going to judge all countries. Not just this country. Read that verse again. What verse you at?
14.
Uh-huh.
And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge.
Go ahead.
And afterwards shall they come out with great substance.
And afterwards they're going to come out with great substance. Now, I wish this was talking about us. We leave up out of here, we come out with great substance. But unfortunately, this is not talking about us. Let's go now. Let's go show you who this is talking about. Let's go to Exodus, the 12th chapter, Exodus 12. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1 again. Exodus 12 and 1. I got a lot of 1 starting at 1 here. Exodus 12 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying.
Now, that's all we need right there. Skip down to verse 33. Skip to verse 33. Go ahead and read it.
33.
Uh-huh.
And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people that they might send them out of the land in haste. For they said, we be all dead men.
Now look, this is what the Egyptians were saying when it was time for the children of Israel to be let go. The Lord put it on Pharaoh's heart and the people's heart, put that fear on them. They look, we got to let these people go. And even Pharaoh was like, look, Moses, y'all can leave, take everything with you. Just leave us some of your cattle. And Moses was like, we're not going to leave a hoof behind. Right? So when the children of Israel got ready to leave, Pharaoh was like, okay, Moses, y'all take everything. Y'all hurry up and get out of here. And bless me also. Because that's how urgent it was for the children of Israel to get out of there. And that's how urgent it was for the Egyptians to have the children of Israel. And that's what's going to happen when the Lord gets ready to deliver us. It's going to be an urgent thing to get us out of here. Go ahead and read. What verse you at?
34.
Uh-huh.
And the people took their dough before it was leavened.
Uh-huh.
Their kneading troughs being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders.
Go ahead.
And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses. And they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels.
Oh, wait a minute. Didn't the Lord say they're going to tell Abraham when the children of Israel leave out of this land? They're going to leave out with great substance. And here we are right now looking at it. Start that verse again.
35.
Uh-huh.
And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses.
Uh-huh.
And they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required.
Go ahead.
And they spoiled the Egyptians.
And they spoiled the Egyptians. So when they left out of Egypt, they left out of there with great substance. Those people had to be in fear more. If I'm going to give you my jewels, my silver and gold, just because you leaving. So the Lord really put some fear on these Egyptians, man. They giving it up. Yeah, give me that coat right there. Yeah. Give me that silver. Give me that. I like that necklace you got on. Give it up. And they like, yeah, here, take it. Y'all just get them out of here.
Yeah.
Because we all be dead, man.
We all be dead, man.
So now we see who the Lord was telling Abraham about. He was telling about the children of Israel when they were leaving up out of Egypt, how they were going to leave out with great substance. Let's go to Acts the 7th chapter. Acts the 7th chapter. So you won't be going around telling people that, well, this is talking about us. This is talking about us in this generation here in America. No, it's not. It's talking about the children of Israel when they came up out of Egypt. We in Acts the 7th chapter, Acts 7. And we're going to pick it up at verse 6. Acts 7 and verse 6. Go ahead and read it.
And God spake on this wise, that his seed should sojourn in a strange land.
And that's what he told Abraham. Say, your seed, Abraham, will sojourn in a strange land. And that was the children of Israel when they dwelt in Egypt. Go ahead and read.
And that they should bring them unto bondage and entreat them evil 400 years.
Oh, did we read that over in Genesis? Go ahead and read.
7. And the nation to whom they shall be in bondage will be judged.
Did the Lord judge the children of Israel when he left out of there? Egyptians were a beat down people. Even had them to come after the children of Israel after they went through the Red Sea and crossed over. Then he go put the Lord hard this hard one more time. And here come the Egyptians after the children of Israel. Don't you know that there is debris going from the Gulf of Akbar to cross the Red Sea, the Gulf of Akbar, going into the wilderness? That debris is still there. Chariot wheels, horse bones, and all of this, just like the Bible describes. Because what the Lord said he did when the Egyptians came after the children of Israel, so he just did something simple, just took off their chariot wheels. And they started dragging the, bottom of they were on dry ground then. They couldn't go nowhere. And the Lord just had the water just come right back over them and kill them all. And there's evidence of this. So we're going to be dealing with a lesson dealing with this coming up here soon. But go ahead and read. What verse you at?
7. And the nation whom they shall be in bondage will I judge, said God.
Go ahead.
After that shall they come forth and serve me in this place.
In what place? In the wilderness. Because that's what the children of Israel did. After they left out of Egypt, they went through the Red Sea and they went straight where? Into the wilderness. Into Mount Sinai, Paran. Go ahead and read.
And he gave him the covenant of circumcision.
And he gave him the covenant of the circumcision. Who did he give the covenant of the circumcision to? Abraham. Go ahead and read.
And so Abraham begot Isaac, and the circumcision with the 8th day. And Isaac begot Jacob, and Jacob begot the 12 patriarchs.
So now he said, and he gave him the covenant of the circumcision, and so Abraham begot Isaac, and circumcised him the 8th day, and Isaac begot Jacob, and Jacob begot the 12 patriarchs. So now he gave Abraham the covenant of the circumcision. And we're going to deal with the circumcision just a little bit, not much. Let's go to Genesis, the 17th chapter. Genesis 17. Genesis 17, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Genesis 17 and 1. Everybody got it? Glad to see y'all come out today. Genesis 17 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty God. Walk before me and be thou perfect.
See, you just can't just come to the Lord. When you come to him, he wants you to walk before him perfect, upright. Don't come to the Lord, you still lying and cheating and stealing and all these things. I know how those preachers say, come to the Lord as you are. No, you're not supposed to come to the Lord as you are. You clean yourself up, then you present yourself to the Lord. Or at least let him see you trying to clean yourself or walk righteous before him, before you come before him. Go ahead and read.
And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly.
Skip to verse 7. He said, I'm going to multiply your seed exceedingly. Skip to verse 7. Go ahead and read it.
And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee, in their generations, for an everlasting covenant.
For what?
An everlasting covenant.
An everlasting covenant. I'm going to establish this with you for an everlasting covenant, and your seed after you. Go ahead and read.
To be a God unto thee, and to thy seed after thee.
Go ahead.
And I will give unto thee and to
See,
thy
the same
seed.
God that we serve is the same God that our brother Esau's supposed to be serving. Our uncle, the Arabs, they supposed to be serving. And the rest of our relatives that come out of Abraham, they're supposed to be serving the same God. Go ahead and read.
8. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger.
Go ahead.
All the land of Canaan for an everlasting possession.
And
I will be their God.
Go ahead.
And God said unto Abraham, Thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee in their generations.
Go ahead.
This is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised.
Every man child among you must be circumcised. Every man child among you. Go ahead and read.
And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin.
Go ahead.
And it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you.
Now this is a sign between the covenant between me and you, Abraham. The circumcision. The circumcision is. Go ahead and read.
12.
And
he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you. Every man child in your generation. He that is born in the house. Or bought with money.
Go ahead.
Of any stranger. Which is not of thy seed.
Now wait a minute now. Because this only for the children of Israel. This not for anybody else of another nation. He said, look, and he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child of your generation, he that is born in the house or bought with money of any stranger. Now right here, you don't even have the children of Israel yet. But he's telling you about the stranger and him being circumcised as well. See, that's how we know that this word is not just for the children of Israel. The circumcision, it is not just for the children of Israel. And not only that, this is an everlasting covenant. So if you want to serve the God of the Bible, you keep calling yourself a Christian in this, then you should be getting circumcised. Amen. Your man child are supposed to be getting circumcised at 8 days. Read that one more time, Rob.
12. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you. Every man child in your generation.
Anybody see an Israelite right here? No Israelite not even on the scene yet. Go ahead and read.
He that is born in the house or bought with money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed.
Which is not of thy seed. So if he's not of Abraham's seed, then he indeed is a stranger, someone of another nation. Go ahead and read, verse 13.
He that is born in thy house, he that is bought with thy money.
Now that's a spiritual significance to that, which we ain't gonna get into. We'll get into some other time. He that is born in thy house, and he that is bought with thy money,
must needs be circumcised.
You see that? Not no if, ands, and maybe, must needs be circumcised. Go ahead and read.
And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant.
Ooh. Anybody see an Israelite here? Ain't no Israelite right here. But he's giving you the covenant of the circumcision, and he said this should be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. So if you say you won't serve the God of Israel, you believe in Jesus, and you say you are following after Christ, I'm going to show you something. You're supposed to be getting circumcised. Verse 14, go ahead and read it.
And the uncircumcised man child whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people.
Go ahead.
He that hath broken, he hath broken my covenant.
So look, if you're going to sojourn, and you want to be, because if you Christ, then are you Abraham's seed, right? And you want to be heirs of the promise, then you must be circumcised. I don't care if you Israel, if you're a Shemite, a Hamite, a Gentile, you must needs be circumcised. And he that, and the uncircumcised man-child whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul should be cut off from his people. He hath broken my covenant. See, man can break the covenant. There's going to be consequences. You can break it. But God, he doesn't do away with his covenants. We give you a covenant. He said this is an everlasting covenant. Now, you can't do away with God's covenant. Who are you? Who do you think you are? Paul said, okay, what Paul said? Who is Paul? If Jesus didn't say it, then you might well forget it. And Jesus said what? Think not that I come to destroy the law of the prophets. I did not come, but I come to fulfill. Which means he came and kept the law. Let's go now. Let's go to Acts 21. Acts 21. Now I'm just going to show you right here, because Paul was still keeping the circumcision at this time. Paul, they're trying to say that Paul was trying to say that the Jews that were among the Gentiles, they should circumcise their children. And look what Peter was telling them. Acts 21, and we're going to pick it up at verse 17. Acts 21 and 17. People need to read stuff like this. Then you won't be walking around talking about, well, I ain't got to be circumcised. Now, don't get me wrong, because when you had came to me, when I first came to you came with me talking about circumcision, I probably would have, amen, I'll talk to you some other time. But the Lord let me get rooted in. Then I understood that I had to be circumcised. And once I understood I had to be circumcised, I had no problem with it. I had no problem with it. I was willing to get circumcised. I had no problem with getting circumcised. And that's how it is with a lot of brothers. They find out after a while. I don't tell people when they first come into it that you got to get circumcised. And see, you might vex a brother then. But you let him get rooted in. You understand? He listening to lessons. He calling you all the time. He starting to get rooted in. Then I spring the circumcision on. You know you got to be circumcised, brother. But by that time, you're like, well, hey, I got to get it done, and so be it. Amen. See, there's some wisdom in this. You don't just spring that on somebody. But anyway, we at Acts 21. Acts 21 and 17. Acts 21 and 17. Go ahead and read it.
And when we were come to Jerusalem, the brethren received us gladly. And the day following, Paul went in with us unto James, and all the elders were present.
Now all the elders present. Go ahead and read with Paul. Go ahead and read.
And when he had saluted them, he declared particularly what things God had wrought among the Gentiles by his ministry. And when they heard it, they glorified the Lord, and said unto him, Thou seest, brother, how many thousands of Jews there are which believe, and they are all zealous of the law.
Stop right there. You see that? He said, look, you see how many brothers that believe, how many Jews that believe, and they zealous of the law. Now, this is Paul saying this, right? Peter, rather, saying this. They zealous of the law. I thought the law was done away. Verse 21, what does that say?
And they are informed of thee, that thou teachest all the Jews which are among the Gentiles to forsake Moses, saying that they ought not to circumcise their children, neither to walk after the customs. Now this is the Jews now among the Gentiles, that they ought not to circumcise their children. Right? So they're going around saying, Paul, this is what Paul is saying. Go ahead and read. What is it therefore? The multitude must needs come together, for they will hear that thou art come.
Go ahead.
Do therefore this, that we say to thee, we have 4 men which have a vow on them. Take them. See, you had 4 men had a vow. They're going to kill Paul. We're not going to stop until we kill Paul. Because Paul going around, lying Paul. Everywhere he go, he lying. But they were lying on him. That's what was going on. They didn't understand what Paul was saying. Just like Peter told you, Paul's writing is hard to be understood. People rested and they twisted to their own destruction. Go ahead and read. Them take and purify thyself with them, and be at charges with them. Go ahead. That they may shave their heads, and all may know that those things whereof they were informed concerning thee,
Uh-huh.
are nothing, but that thou themselves also walkest orderly and keepest the law.
Ooh, what law are we talking about? The circumcision. This is after Jesus died and went to the grave and ascended to God. He said, look, them take and purify thyself with them. These 4 men that have a vow on them. And being charged with them, that they may shave their heads and all may know that those things where they were informed concerning thee are nothing, but that thou thyself also walkest orderly and keepest the law. He telling Paul, look, go, be in charge with these men and everything. Go shave your head with them and look and show them that these things that they saying about you, they ain't nothing. But go show them that you walk orderly and that you keep the law of circumcision. Because that's what this was about, the law of circumcision, right? Mm-hmm. So I thought that the law of circumcision was done away. It couldn't be done away with. You know why? Because it is an everlasting covenant. An everlasting covenant. You can't do away with God's covenant. You can break it all you want to, but there's going to be consequences behind it. But you surely can't do it. How you going to do something away with something God established? And you just a man. How you going to do? How can you do this? The best that you can do is just say. That's it. That's all you can do is talk. Because you cannot do away with God's, especially if it's an everlasting covenant. Show them that you walk as orderly, Paul, and that you keep the law of circumcision. Yes, let's go to Galatians, the 3rd chapter. Galatians 3. And we're going to read one verse here, verse 15. Galatians 3 and 15. Galatians 3 and 15. Once God establishes something, that is it. That is it. And if he established a covenant with a man, that's the way it is. God is not going to break the covenant. Man will break the covenant, not God. What happened with the children of Israel? They broke his covenant. He enslaved them. Dispersed them all over the countries. And here we are, because we broke God's covenants. We had Galatians 3 and 15, Galatians 3 and 15. Go ahead and read it.
Brethren, I speak after the manner of men, though it be but a man's covenant, yet if it be confirmed, no man disannulleth, or addeth thereto. No man disannulleth or addeth to. No man. We're going to look up the word annul. We're going to read this Digest Encyclopedia, and we're just going to look up the word annul. What does that annul mean? I know it said disannul, but you got to do a little research and find out it's talking about annul. To render null.
You want me to read?
To render null or declare invalid.
To render null or declare invalid. So he said, look, if it be but a man's covenant, yet if it be confirmed, no man disannulleth or addeth thereto. So you can't disannul God's covenant when he makes it with men, neither can you take away from it. It is etched in stone. And we know that the circumcision is an everlasting covenant. Finish that.
As a law or a marriage, to reduce to nothing, put an end to. To reduce to nothing or put an end to. You can't put an end to God's covenant. You can't reduce it to nothing. Does everybody understand?
Amen.
No man has this power. You'll be all right in a minute, sis. All right, let's go now. Let's go to Proverbs, the 30th chapter. So he said, no man disannul, right? Nor added to. Let's go. We're going to Proverbs, the 30th chapter. Proverbs 30. And we're going to pick it up at verse 5. Proverbs 30 and verse 5. Proverbs 30 and 5. Go ahead and read it.
Every word of God is pure.
Every word of God is pure. Go ahead and read.
He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. Add thou not unto his word.
Don't try to go and start adding to God's word, because you see men do that all the time. But when you add to God's word, what do you become? Keep reading.
Lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar.
Ooh. You start trying to add from God to God's word and take away from it. The Lord said he's going to reprove thee, and you're going to be found a liar. Because his word, it is pure. It don't need no salt, no pepper. It's already been seasoned. Add thou not unto his words, unless he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar. Man, that is really something right there. You add to the word of the Lord. What do you think you are? You're going to add to the God's word. Why do he need you to add to his word? Let's go now. Let's go to Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter. You know, God meant this and God meant that. No, add to his word. I'll be like, man, can you read that to me? First day, well, you know it's in there. No, okay, if it's in there, then you ought to be able to read it then. Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter, Deuteronomy 4. And we're going to pick it up in verse 2. Deuteronomy 4 and 2. Deuteronomy 4 and 2. When you get it, brother, go ahead and read it.
You shall not add unto the word which I command you.
Neither
shall ye diminish aught from it.
You shouldn't add to it, neither shall you diminish from it or take away from it. You know, this is food for thought right here for everybody, especially the preachers. I ain't going to talk about them today. Go ahead and read.
That ye may keep the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you.
Go ahead.
Your eyes have seen what the Lord did because of Baal Peor. For all the men that followed Baal Peor, the Lord thy God hath destroyed them from among you.
Now let that sink in. You start following after men. Lord said, look, you see what happened to Baal Peor? The men started following him. He destroyed them. Verse 4, go ahead and read it.
But ye that did cleave unto the Lord your God are alive, every one of you this day.
The one that stayed with the Lord, he said, y'all alive today. You better be thanking God that you cleaved unto him, because you'd be just like those men that went with Baal Peor and would have been destroyed. Go ahead and read.
Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whether ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of all the nations.
These commandments and judgments and these statutes. He's saying that this is your wisdom your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. Go ahead and read.
Which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this is a great nation, and surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
So you keeping those laws and commandments and those statutes. He said this is a wise and understanding nation. A wise and understanding nation. You know, people think we crazy, but they don't understand we are a wise and understanding nation. We keeping those commandments. Because this is our wisdom in the sight of the nations. Go ahead and read.
For what nation is there so great, who hath God so nigh unto them, as the Lord our God is in all things that we are called upon for him for? And what nation is there so great that high statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law?
Stop right there. You see that? That just went by everybody, didn't it? Read that again.
8. And what nation is there so great that hath statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law?
Stop right there. You see what the law is? It is righteous. The statutes and judgments, they are righteous. So next time somebody said, well, I'm walking righteous before God, are you keeping the laws, his laws, statutes, and his judgments? Well, no, we don't have to keep the law. Well, then you are not walking in righteousness. It's that simple. And what nation is there so great that have statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law, which I have set before you this day? Now, skip now. We're going to skip down to verse 12. Skip to verse 12. Go ahead and read it.
And the Lord spake unto you out of the midst of the fire. Ye heard the voice of the words, but saw no similitude. Only ye heard a voice. And he declared unto you his covenant.
He declared unto you what?
His covenant.
And what's the covenant? Keep reading.
Which he commanded you to perform. Even 10 commandments.
Stop right there. You see what the covenant we're dealing with right here? It is the 10 commandments. Now we got to find out, is this an everlasting covenant right here? Start that verse again.
And he declared unto you his commandments, which he commanded.
Read that again.
And he declared unto you his covenant, which he commanded you to perform, even 10 commandments.
Go ahead.
And he wrote them upon 2 tables of stone.
Verse 14, go ahead.
And the Lord commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and judgments, that ye might do them in the land whether ye go to possess it.
See, so, he wasn't just teaching you these statutes and these commandments for nothing. He wants you to do them. But you see this covenant that we're dealing with now? This covenant is the 10 commandments. Let's go now. Let's go read some of these commandments. Let's go to Exodus, the 20th chapter. Because, we need to do this more often. We need to read these commandments more often. Exodus, because we tell people about them all the time, don't we? We need to read them more often and read them to people. And then maybe somebody say, well, you know what? That ain't so bad. What's wrong with them? They got a problem with the 4th commandment, but that 4th commandment, they got a problem with that one. We keep the 9, but the 4th one, And that is the Sabbath. Don't you know the Sabbath is a covenant inside of a covenant? The Sabbath is.
Yes, it
It's a covenant inside of a covenant. And we're going to show you this today. Because that's what we're dealing with today. We are dealing with everlasting covenants for mankind. We're in Exodus 20 and 2. Exodus 20 and 2. Go ahead and read it.
I'm the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Thou shalt have no other God before me. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters under the earth.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the 3rd and 4th generations of them that hate me.
Go ahead.
And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me, and keep my commandments.
Verse 7, what does that say?
Thou shalt not take the name of thy Lord God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that hath his name in vain.
Go ahead.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Now this is what they got a problem. This is what people got a problem. He said, what did he say about the Sabbath? He said, this is the only one he said, remember, and this is the one people choose to forget. He said, look, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Go ahead and read.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. Now
look, he even brought the stranger in there. Look at that. He even brought the stranger in, just like he told Abraham about the stranger. He must be circumcised.
Yes, sir.
So now if the stranger want to sojourn with the children of Israel, what do they have to do? They had to keep this Sabbath. They had to keep these commandments right here. Verse 11, what does it say?
For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
He blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. We're going to come back to this in a minute. Now let's go see what happened with Jesus. Did Jesus do away with his commandments? Because we're going to show you that the commandments are an everlasting covenant. Because we read earlier, he gave them the covenant, even the 10 commandments, right? Let's go now. Let's go to Matthew, the 5th chapter, Matthew 5. Matthew 5, and we're going to pick it up at verse 17. See, people love reading this right here. Even the people that oppose God's commandments and his law, they even love reading this. But see, they want to take it the opposite way, though. They want to say, see, he fulfilled the law. When Jesus died, the law died with him. Otherwise, you can go out stealing and killing, and you understand, you won't be guilty before God then, right? Those laws for the Jews is not for everybody else. You mean tell me that a Gentile or a Hamite, he can go stealing and not be guilty before God? That don't even make sense. They're only for the children of Israel. Everybody, all the other nations, they go stealing and killing and lying and do everything they want to do and not be guilty before God. Well, I got a question for you then. Who are all these people that's going to be in the lake of fire? Because you're going to have some Israelites in there too now. But who are all these other people? The Lord called them unbelievers. That's what he called them. Unbelievers. Matthew 5 and 17. Go ahead and read it.
Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
See, that means he done away with it when he came to fulfill them. Now, like, fulfill right here means that he kept them. Because the book says that Jesus was without sin. Go ahead and read.
For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled.
Now, if heaven and earth is still here, then the law has to be still good then. Because the heaven and earth is still here. Go ahead and read.
Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so.
Now wait a minute. Do you mean tell me Jesus don't know what he's talking about? He said, whosoever that, now if he done away with it, then why would he tell you that whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments? Why is he telling you this? If he done away with them, that don't make sense. I mean, this is common reasoning right here. Verse 19, read it again.
Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
Ooh, he's going to be called least in the kingdom of heaven. He's the worst one that they say in the kingdom. He's going to be the worst one that they talk about. Which means he's going to be in the lake of fire. But he's the worst one. Because what did the book say? You can blaspheme. The Lord even told you can blaspheme against me, but don't blaspheme against the Holy Ghost, because you're not going to be forgiven in this life, neither the life to come. Whosoever shall therefore break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so, he shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. Go ahead and read it.
But whosoever shall do and teach them.
Whosoever shall do and teach them,
the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
The same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Does everybody understand this?
Amen.
So when he came to fulfill the law, he didn't do away with it. If he did, then why is he telling you whosoever shall break one of these commandments, he's going to be called the worst in the kingdom of heaven. And the one that do and teach them, they're going to be called the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Verse 20, go ahead.
For I say unto you that except your righteousness.
Wait a minute, righteousness? Well, what's righteousness? Isn't the law righteous? We just read that over in Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter. For I say to you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees,
ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven.
You shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. Your righteousness has exceeded the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees. They told you that you had to keep the law, but they didn't keep it. Right? So he said your righteousness has exceeded theirs. So how does your righteousness exceed the scribes and the Pharisees? By you not only hearing it, but doing it. And teaching others to do it. But most assuredly, you doing it or keeping it. Go ahead and read.
Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not kill.
Go ahead.
And whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment.
Now wait a minute. How is he doing away with it? It sounds like he's strapping it on tighter. He's reinforcing the commandments right here. He's reinforcing it. Go ahead and read.
And whosoever shall say unto his brother, Raka, shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hellfire.
Skip to verse 28. Skip to verse 28. Go ahead.
But I say unto you, that whosoever looketh upon a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart.
Now he's working with your mind. He's working with your mind, right? He said, look, it was one thing, can you go out and commit the act of adultery and not be guilty before God? No. You can't go out and commit the act of adultery and not be guilty before God. So now he just reinforced. He said, look, if you just think about it and you lusting after her, you have committed adultery. He's strapping it on tighter. He's reinforcing it. You couldn't keep the physical act. Now I don't want you to keep the mental act neither. Go ahead and read.
And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell.
Skip to verse 43. Skip to verse 43. Go ahead and read it.
Ye have heard that it had been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemy. Bless them that curse you. Do good to them that hate you. And pray for them which despisefully use you and persecute you.
Now we are primarily dealing with the commandments right here, right? So now he said when he gave you this covenant, even the 10 commandments. Let's see, is this an everlasting covenant? Let's go to Psalm 111. Psalms 111, because that's the name of the lesson. The everlasting covenant. And that's what we're dealing with today. And if you're not keeping these covenants, then you're not worshiping the God of the Bible. Because these covenants today that we're dealing with are everlasting. And you can't get around this. So, and I don't know why would you want to anyway. Psalm 111 and 9. Psalm 111 and 9. Go ahead and read it.
He sent redemption unto his people. He hath commanded his covenant forever.
He hath commanded his covenant for how long?
Forever.
Forever. Let's find out what covenant are we dealing with right here that he hath commanded forever. Go ahead and read it.
Holy and reverend is his name. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Go ahead.
A good understanding have all they that do his commandments.
Oh, this the everlasting covenant we deal with right here. It is the commandments. The fear of the Lord is beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. These commandments are an everlasting covenant. Everlasting covenant. And no man can disannul. No man. Let's go now. Let's go to Proverbs, the 4th chapter. Let's go right on over to Proverbs, the 4th chapter. Because he said, for the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, a good understanding of all they that keep his commandments, right? Let's go to Proverbs, the 4th chapter. Proverbs 4. Proverbs, the 4th chapter. Proverbs 4, and we're going to pick it up at verse 5. Proverbs 4 and verse 5. Go ahead and read it.
Get wisdom, get understanding. Forget it not.
See, you know, that's the name of the game. It's for you to get wisdom and for you to get understanding. But the main thing for you to do when you get this wisdom and understanding is apply it to your life. In other words, do it. God tell you to do something, do it. So if you're not applying it to your wife, then you didn't get much wisdom and understanding. If you're not applying this to your life, if you're not doing it, then you need to go back and get some more wisdom and some more understanding. Because you can't be just a hearer of the word, you have to be a doer.
Amen.
Go ahead.
Get wisdom, get understanding. Forget it not, neither decline from the words of my mouth. Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee.
She gonna do what?
Preserve thee.
She will preserve you. Wisdom will preserve you. You understand? You know what? You following after the Lord's commandments and you keeping His law and you have got yourself circumcised and you're doing those things that God has commanded you, keeping the feast days. The Lord is going to preserve you. Somebody coming after you, the Lord's going to do something about that. No, you can't touch my servant. Your boss on your job mess with you? Oh, just hold on a minute. Don't say nothing. Don't open up your mouth. Because I'll deal with him. You understand what I'm saying?
Amen.
He will preserve you. The Lord will be there for you. Go ahead and read.
Love her, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is the principal thing.
Wisdom. It is the principal thing.
Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding.
And with all your getting, get understanding. And if you don't understand that the circumcision is an everlasting covenant, if you don't understand that the commandments are an everlasting covenant, then you need to go back and get some more wisdom and understanding. You need to go back and get some more wisdom and understanding. Because you're missing it somewhere. You are missing it. Let's go now. Let's go to Colossians, the 2nd chapter. I want to show you something right here. Colossians, the 2nd chapter. We're going to pick up the Sabbath real quick. Colossians, the 2nd chapter. Because like I said earlier, you got a covenant inside of a covenant. Don't you know that the Sabbath day is a covenant? The 10 Commandments, it is a covenant. And the Sabbath is the 4th commandment, a covenant inside of a covenant. And not only is it a covenant inside a covenant, it is an everlasting covenant. Colossians 2 and 16. Colossians 2 and 16. Now remember something. We're dealing with the Gentiles right here. And this is after Jesus died and rose from the grave. And he's telling this to the Colossians, which are Gentiles. Go ahead and read it.
Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink, or in respect of a holy day.
Or in respect of an holy day.
Or the new moon, or the Sabbath day.
Or the new moon, or of the Sabbath day. Don't let no man judge you and you keeping this, and you respecting this. Verse 17, go ahead.
Which are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of Christ.
Now, so he said, let no man therefore judge you in meat and drink, or in respect of an holy day, or in honoring a holy day, or of the new moon, or of the Sabbath days, right? Let's go to Ezekiel 43. Ezekiel 43. Now look at this right here. Now we're dealing in end time prophecy right here. Ezekiel 43, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Ezekiel 43 and 1. We're in end time prophecy. This is the coming of the Lord. The Lord will be on the earth right here.
Amen.
Going in that east gate into his temple. Ezekiel 43 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
Afterward he brought me to the gate, even the gate that looketh toward the east. And behold, the glory of God of Israel came from the way of the east. And his voice was like a noise of many waters, and the earth shined with his glory.
Anybody seen anything like this? You haven't seen anything like this. The earth shining with the Lord's glory. This is future right here. Verse 3, go ahead.
And it was according to...
I'm sorry, skip to verse 6. We're going to get right to it. Skip to verse 6. Go ahead.
And I heard him speaking unto me out of the house, and the man stood by me. And he said unto me, Son of man, the place of my throne and the place of the soles of my feet, where I will dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever.
See who he's going to dwell in the midst of? The children of Israel. He said, Son of man, the place of my throne and the place of the soles of my feet. And we already saw last week where Jesus' throne was going to be, right? It's going to be on the earth. In Jerusalem. The place of my throne, the place of the soles of my feet, where I will dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever.
And my holy name shall the house of Israel no more defile. Neither they nor their kings by their whoredoms, nor by their carcasses of their kings in their high places.
Now we got the Lord on the earth at this time, right? Because the earth shine with his glory. And he said, the place of my soul, the place of the soul, place of my throne, the place of the soles of my feet, where I would dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever, right? Let's go to Ezekiel, the 46th chapter. Ezekiel 46. Now we still dealing with the time that the Lord is on the earth right here. Ezekiel 46 and 1. Ezekiel 46 and 1. Look at what it said. Go ahead and read it.
Thus saith the Lord God, the gate of the inner court hath looked toward the east.
He said the gate of the inner court that looketh toward the east.
Shall be shut, and the 6th working day.
It said this gate gonna be shut 6 working days. Now we're still dealing with the Lord and His coming right here, and it is East Gate, right? So it's gonna be shut 6 working days.
But on the Sabbath it shall be open.
Wait a minute, it's gonna be open on the Sabbath. This is when the Lord is on the earth right here. He said, but on the Sabbath, what day is the Sabbath day?
Seventh day.
The 7th day. But on the Sabbath, it shall be open.
And in the day of the new moon it shall be open.
And in the day of the new moon, you mean to tell me the Lord's still calculating with the new moon? That's right. The Lord still got the Sabbath day. That's right. This is after his feet are going to be on the earth. And him in his temple. Go ahead and read.
And the prince shall enter by the way of the porch that gate without.
Now don't ask me who this prince is, because I can't tell you. I got my suspicions, but I don't teach my suspicions. Go ahead and read.
And shall stand by the posts of the gate. And the priest shall prepare his burnt offering and his peace offering, and he shall worship at the threshold of the gate. Then he shall go forth, but the gate shall not be shut until the evening. Likewise, the people of the land shall worship at the door of this gate before the Lord in the Sabbath.
They shall when? In the Sabbath, they're going to worship before this gate. Look at this right here. Start it over again.
Likewise, the people of the land shall worship at the door of this gate before the Lord in the Sabbath.
Go ahead.
And in the new moons.
In the Sabbath and the new moons, the people are going to go and worship before this gate. Now this is at the coming of the Lord when he's going to be on the earth. And we still dealing with the Sabbath day. Why are we still dealing with the Sabbath day, Brother Rob? It's still an everlasting covenant. Let's go to Exodus, the 31st chapter. Exodus 31. Exodus 31. And we're going to pick it up at verse 12. Exodus 31 and 12. Now this is at the coming of the Lord. We could have read over at Matthew, the 24th chapter, where the Lord, when he, just before he's coming, you'll see him in the cloud. It's still talking about the Sabbath day. But right here, he will be on the earth in his temple. And the people are going to come up and worship the Lord on the Sabbath day and in the new moons. And why is that? Exodus 31 and 12. Exodus 31 and 12. Go ahead and read.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily, my Sabbaths ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout all your generations.
Oh, wait a minute. He said, my Sabbaths you shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations. Aren't we a generation?
Amen.
That's why we still keeping the Lord's Sabbath. Go ahead and read.
That ye may know that I am the Lord that doeth sanctify you. Ye shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defileth it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any
If
work
the Lord
therein,
didn't have mercy, there'd be a lot of people dead. You know, killing, a lot of people dying on the spot if the Lord didn't have mercy. Because he said anyone that found it, especially the ones that know about it and don't keep it, them the ones he really gonna get. Because he said the ones that know my word and don't do it, I'm gonna whoop them with many stripes. But the ones that don't know my word and don't keep it, I'm gonna get you, but I'm gonna whoop you with fewer stripes. I'm gonna punish the one more that know my word and don't keep it. Tell you, man, either way it go, if you don't keep the Lord's Sabbath, you in trouble. You in trouble. Read that over again. What verse you at?
14.
Ye
shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defileth it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Sabbath of rest, holy to the Lord.
See, that hasn't changed. You know, because you got men saying that the first day of the week is a Sabbath day now. But Lord, this is an everlasting covenant. I'm going to show you. So it couldn't have changed from the seventh day to the first day. Otherwise, God had broken his own covenant. And we know God don't break his covenant. Men break the covenant, but God don't. And if he said, and look, he called the rainbow, the token of the rainbow, he called that. He said, you're going to look at the boy in the cloud. He said, this is going to be for an everlasting covenant. I will not destroy the earth or flood the earth. So if that's an everlasting covenant, you can see that. Why come you can't see this? Why can't you see this? Go ahead and read, Rob.
Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations.
Throughout their generation. We're supposed to be doing this forever. Go ahead and read.
For a perpetual covenant.
For what?
A perpetual covenant.
What does perpetual mean?
Forever.
Forever. An everlasting covenant. Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations, for a perpetual covenant. Now, God, like I said, don't do away with his covenant. So who is any man to do away with God's covenant? Who do you think you are? Only thing you can do is say. That's all you can do, because you can't do away with God's covenant. Ain't no way, ain't no how. That's all you can do is say. You know, the first day, that's the Lord's Sabbath day. Then the first thing I say, well, read that to me. You know, I go to Matthew the 28th chapter. After Jesus died, in the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn towards the first day of the week, you still got the Sabbath day, and you still got the first day of the week. Just like the book says. It is an everlasting covenant. Verse 17, what does it say?
It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever.
For how long?
Forever.
Forever. Now, how can you do away with this? If God said it's forever, then how can you do away with it? Go ahead and read.
For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed.
Now, so we understand now we got a covenant, which is the Sabbath, inside of a covenant, which is the 10 Commandments. And both are everlasting covenants. Both are everlasting covenants. Let's go now. Let's go to Luke the 6th chapter. Luke the 6th chapter. Now look at what the master is saying right here. Now once he said this, you know, that should have been it. You know, if you say you following after the Lord, this should be it. Luke 6:1, Luke 6:1. There should be no more question about what day the Sabbath day is and whether you should be keeping it or not. Luke 6:1. Go ahead and read.
And it came to pass on the 2nd Sabbath after the first that he went.
Now, look at that. And it came to pass on the 2nd Sabbath after the first. Because the Sabbath is not, you know, like some brothers trying to say that it's according to the new moon. No, the Sabbath is not according to the new moon. You know, the new moon can fall on any day of the week. So they said, well, the new moon fall on any day of the week and fall on a Wednesday. You count 7 days, and then that's Thursday. That's the Sabbath day. And for that month, that's what the Sabbath day is gonna be on Thursday. That don't make sense though. So now, God know that man had to work. That's why he said 6 days may work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest. So you mean to tell me that, okay, this month, I'm off on a Sabbath on a Thursday. Next month, the new moon fall on a Tuesday. So for that month, the Sabbath day is on a Wednesday, so I got to be off on a Wednesday. How you going to keep the Sabbath? Your boss going to be like, that Sabbath right there, you fired. That Sabbath, you keep it, you fired. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And God, why he is wise. He knows that man got to work through all generations. He knows man got to work. So why would give you a Sabbath that's going to skip? It's going to be on a Thursday one month, and then the next month it's going to be on a Wednesday, and then the next month it might be on Saturday. That don't even make sense. God is a wise God. He don't do things for nothing. He knows this man because this is his creation. We had Luke 6. Luke 6. Go ahead and read, brother.
And it came to pass on the 2nd Sabbath after the first that he went through the cornfields, and his disciples plucked the ears of the corn and did eat, rubbing them on their hands.
Now, they going through the cornfield. They hungry, right? So the Pharisees, they checking them out. Yeah, look at them out there. Look at Jesus and them out there. They out there working on the Sabbath. Now, you're dealing with the master right here. And they didn't understand who they were dealing with. Go ahead and read.
And certain of the Pharisees said unto them, Why do ye that which is not lawful to do on the Sabbath days?
See, y'all out there breaking the law. You understand? You're not supposed to be working on the Sabbath day. Y'all breaking the law. What did Jesus say? Go ahead.
And Jesus answering them said, Have ye not read so much as this, what David did when himself was and hungered, and they which were with him?
He said, you know what? Y'all, haven't y'all read what David did when he was hungry? Go ahead, what did he do?
How he went into the house of God and did take and eat the showbread.
Because it wasn't lawful for you to eat the showbread. But David was so hungry, they went in the temple and grabbed the showbread. Here, man, take a piece. Everybody gonna eat. Go ahead and read.
And gave also to them that were with him, which it was not lawful to eat, but for the priests alone.
See, it was just for the priests to eat. But David went in there, look, man, we hungry. And we're going to eat. So here, everybody take a piece. Go ahead and read, because God don't want you to be foolish. You understand? It's a snowstorm. You get a flat. You got everything to change your flat. You think he wants you to sit there in the snowstorm on the Sabbath? No, he wants you to fix your flat and get on out of there.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and read.
And he said unto them, that the Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath.
Ooh, I know they had to be burning up then when he said that. Who you think you are? But they didn't understand who they're dealing with. God had come down as a man. He said, look, I am Lord of the Sabbath. The Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath. I know they had to be like, what do you think he is? You Lord of the Sabbath. He said, and he said unto them that the Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath. You know what? That should have been case closed with all people that call themselves Christians. If my Lord is keeping the Sabbath, I should be keeping the Sabbath. And not only that, we just read it as an everlasting covenant. An everlasting covenant. Let's go now. Let's go to Galatians, the 3rd chapter, Galatians 3. If my God, or my Lord, rather, is keeping the Sabbath, I should be keeping it too. But more importantly, it is an everlasting covenant. Galatians 3. Galatians 3 and 29. Galatians 3 and 29. Go ahead and read it.
And if ye be Christ, then ye are Abraham's seed, and heirs according to the promise.
Now look, if you be Christ, then are you Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise. Christ kept the Sabbath, right? Mm-hmm. So what are we supposed to be doing then? Keeping the Sabbath. When you see what he said? If you be Christ, then are you Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise. Back up now. Back up in the same chapter, and we're going to pick it up at verse 6. Verse 6, same chapter, Galatians 3 and 6. Go ahead and read it.
Even as Abraham believed God, and it was counted for him for righteousness.
Go ahead.
Know ye therefore that they which are of faith, the same are the children of Abraham. And the scriptures foreseeing that God would justify the heathen through the faith, preached before the gospel under Abraham, saying, in thee shall all nations be blessed.
Now, did we read that earlier? In thee shall all the nations of the earth be blessed. Go ahead and read.
So then they which be of faith are blessed with faithful Abraham.
Now look, if you say you got faith, oh yeah, I got faith, yeah. Well then he says, so then they which be of faith are blessed with faithful Abraham. Now wait a minute now. So if you be Christ, then are you Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise, right? Let's go to Genesis 26 chapter. Let's see what Abraham did. Because he wasn't just, Lord didn't just give him the circumcision. Abraham did something else. We're at Genesis 26 and 1. Genesis 26 and 1. Look at what else Abraham did. Genesis 26 and 1. I'm going to get y'all out of here a little early today. Genesis 26 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
And there was a famine in the land besides the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. And Isaac went unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines, unto Gerar.
Go ahead.
And the Lord appeared unto him and said, go not down unto Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and will bless thee. For unto thee and unto thy seed will I give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed.
Now look, he told Abraham the same thing. Now he's telling Isaac the same thing. In thee shall all these nations of the earth be blessed.
Because that Abraham obeyed my voice.
Abraham, he obeyed my voice. And see, that's what you have to do. You have to obey the voice of the Lord. And so you should be keeping the covenant of the circumcision. You should be keeping the covenant of the commandments. You should be keeping the covenant of the Sabbath day. Because when you do this, you are obeying the voice of the Lord, just like he said Abraham did. And what did Abraham do? Start at verse 5 again.
Because that Abraham obeyed my voice
Uh-huh.
and kept my charge,
Go ahead.
my commandments, my statutes, and my laws.
Ooh. If you be Christ, then are you Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise. And if you blessed, then you are blessed with faithful Abraham. And so now if you belong to Abraham, then Abraham kept my laws, my commandments, and my statutes. You should be keeping this then. If you say you with Christ, then you're supposed to be keeping the Sabbath, right?
Amen.
If you be Christ, then you Abraham's seed. What Abraham's seed, you see what Abraham did? He kept my laws, my commandments, my statutes. Abraham also kept the circumcision. Does everybody understand?
Amen.
Let's go now. Let's go to Hebrews, the 8th chapter. Hebrews, the 8th chapter. And look at what he did with the children of Israel concerning his laws. Hebrews 8, and we're going to pick it up at verse 8. Hebrews 8 and 8. Go ahead and read. Now read verse 7.
For if that the first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second.
See, now the first covenant was faultless. Why was it? Why? Because the men, Levi, they still sinned. Right? And that's why Jesus had to come along and said, the blood of bulls and goats couldn't take away sin. Plus Levi, he was sinning too. We just read that last Sabbath, right? So the Lord had to come and give you another better covenant. And under this second covenant, or this second testament, you can get eternal life. So this is a better covenant right here. And it comes with the blood of Jesus. Go ahead and read.
For finding fault with them, he said, Behold, the day come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah.
I'm going to make a covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Go ahead and read.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord.
Go ahead.
For this is the covenant which I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws in their mind and write them in their hearts.
Go ahead.
And I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people.
Didn't he tell Abraham this? I'm going to be your God, and your seed, they will be my people. Y'all going to be my people. Right? So now he said, I'm going to put my laws in their hearts and their mind. I'm going to be their God, and they're going to be my people. Verse 11, go ahead.
And they shall not teach every man his neighbor, and every man his brother,
go ahead,
saying, Know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest.
Now, so he said, I'm going to put my laws in their hearts and mind. I'm going to make a new covenant with the children of Israel and Judah, right? Let's go to John, the 4th chapter, John 4. John 4, we're almost there. John 4, and we're going to pick it up at verse 19. John 4 and 19. Go ahead and read it.
The woman saith unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet.
Now this is the woman at the well, so she's dealing with Jesus now, right here. She said, I perceive that you're a prophet. Go ahead and read.
Our fathers worshipped in this mountain, and ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship.
Go ahead.
Jesus said unto her, Woman, believe me that the hour cometh, when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. Ye worship, ye know not what. We know what we worship. For salvation is of the Jews. For salvation is of the Jews. Remember he said, I'm going to put my laws in their heart and in their mind?
Now he said, look, salvation is of the Jews. I'm going to show you a couple of more covenants right here. Just hold on. And I'm going to show you that these are everlasting covenants too. Let's go now. Let's go to Psalms 147. Psalm 147. And we're going to pick it up at verse 19. Psalm 147 and 19. Psalm 147 and 19. Salvation of the Jews. I'm going to put my laws in their hearts and in their minds. Right? Psalm 147 and 19. Go ahead and read it.
He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dwelt so with any nation.
He hath not dealt so with any nation.
And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord.
So now, he said, look, he showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. Now, let's go to Isaiah the 59th chapter. Isaiah 59. We got two more. Isaiah 59. Isaiah 59, and we're going to pick it up at verse 20. Isaiah 59 and 20. Go ahead and read it.
And the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob, saith the Lord.
Now, who is the Redeemer? That's Jesus. Say he's going to come to Zion. Where's Zion at? That's Jerusalem, right? Go ahead and read.
As for me, this is my covenant with them.
Now, who is this them? The children of Israel. This is my covenant with them.
Saith the Lord.
Now, this everlasting covenant I want you to see right here. He said, as for me, this is my covenant with them.
My spirit that is upon thee, and my words which I have put in thy mouth, shall not depart out of thy mouth.
Go ahead.
Nor out of the mouth of thy seed, nor out of the mouth of thy seed.
Go ahead.
Saith the Lord, from henceforth and forever.
Now look at that. He said he's going to put his word in Israel's mouth for what? An everlasting covenant. An everlasting covenant. Didn't Jesus tell the woman at the well, salvation is of the Jews? If you want to learn this word, then you got to come to the Jews to learn this word. Because the word is in the mouth of Israel for everlasting covenant. Thus saith the Lord. Let's go to Jeremiah the 31st chapter. Jeremiah 31. Right on over to Jeremiah 31. We got one more after this. Jeremiah 31, and we're going to pick it up at verse 35. Jeremiah 31 and 35. Everybody got it?
Amen.
Go ahead and read it.
Thus saith the Lord.
See, the Lord is saying this. Not just coming up with this on their own. Or we're not just saying this. The Lord is saying this. Go ahead and read.
Thus saith the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea, where the waves thereof roar. The Lord of hosts is his name.
Go ahead.
If those ordinances depart from before
Wait a minute now. He said, if those ordinances depart from before me, what ordinances? The sun, the moon, and the stars. If they depart from me, go ahead and read.
Saith the Lord, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever.
Ooh. Well, the sun, the moon, and the stars are still out there, right? Then Israel is still a nation before the Lord. I know we're scattered, but we are still a nation before the Lord. Go ahead and read.
Thus saith the Lord, if the heavens above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth stretched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith the Lord.
Now wait a minute. Didn't he say, I'm going to be your God and you're going to be my people? That is a covenant that he made with the children of Israel, going all the way back to Exodus. You're going to be my God, and I'm going to be your people. He even told Abraham, your seed are going to be blessed before me, and I'm going to be your God, and you all are going to be my people. Now look, he said, look, if these ordinances depart from me, if heaven and earth can be measured, I will also cut off the seed of Israel for all that they have done, said the Lord. Now, let's go, because the sun and moon and stars are still there, right? So are we still his people? Yes. Now let's go to Revelation 21. Let me show you how we still his people. Revelation 21. Because God don't lie. He give you a covenant, he make a covenant with a man, nobody can disannul it. Nobody. 21, Revelation 21 and 1. Revelation 21 and 1. Go ahead and read it. This will be last.
And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. And there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
Go ahead.
And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with us, with men.
And with who?
It's with men.
Oh, so you're not going up to that tabernacle, it's coming down to you. Go ahead and read.
And he will dwell with them. And they shall be his people.
Stop right there. And they shall be his people. And this is what we started off with in Genesis with Abraham, right? I'm going to be your God and you're going to be my people. Now this is at the coming of the Lord. This is God coming down. He said, I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. Go ahead and read.
And God himself shall be with them.
And God himself shall be with them.
And be their God.
And be their God. Skip down to verse 9. Skip to verse 9. Go ahead and read it.
And there came unto me one of the seven angels which had the seven vials full of the seven last plagues, and talked with me, saying, come hither, and I will show thee the bride of the Lamb's wife. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that the great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God, having the glory of God, and her light was like unto a stone, most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal.
Can you imagine seeing something like this? Man, I hope I'm around to see it. Here comes that city from the sky. Like a jasper stone. Streets of gold. Man, everybody will be looking, man, this is beautiful. But look at what he's going to say about the children of Israel. Go ahead and read.
And had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and the names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
Because this is a covenant that God made with the children of Israel. I'm going to be your God, and you're going to be my people. It had a wall great and high, it had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels. See, Peter ain't standing at no gates, blowing no trumpet. Somebody made that lie up, been going on for centuries, right? 12 angels at these gates, right? And the names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. The everlasting covenants. Thank you. Now we'll have the reading of the announcements.
Grace and peace to our brothers and sisters here at Israel's Church of the Living God. If this is your first visit, we hope you will come back and worship with us again next Sabbath. There is no eating or drinking in the sanctuary, with exceptions for water. Brothers and sisters, please adhere to the dress code of Israel's Church of the Living God. Brothers, please remove any head covering upon entering the building. Do not wear sleeveless shirts, fleece jogging pants, shorts, tight-fitting pants, or any other revealing attire. Sisters, you must have a head covering that is required, hat, scarf, etc. Do not wear pants, shorts, skirts, midriffs, or see-through blouses. mini dresses, mini skirts, halter tops of any kind, revealing splits, tight-fitting or cleavage revealing attire, modest apparel only. We have Bibles and scarves available. If you use a Bible or a scarf that belongs to Israel's Church of the Living God, please return it prior to leaving. If you live in the Lake County, Illinois area, please watch our television program, The Word for Life, every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. on Comcast Channel 17. You can visit our Facebook page at Israel's Church of the Living God to post questions or comments. All questions will be answered according to the Bible. Click the Facebook like button to see our daily posts in your newsfeed. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at ICOTLG 567. In an effort to expand our church ministry, we are starting a building fund. You can make secure payments online using our PayPal account at israelschurch.org. Or you can send your donations to attention ICOTLG at P.O. Box 8933, Waukegan, Illinois 60079. We thank you for your past contributions and hope for your continued support. Free will donations are welcomed and appreciated. Finally, brothers and sisters, please continue to pray for one another. These are today's announcements.
If you'd like to contact us here at Israel's Church of the Living God, you can give us a call at 847-636-4792 or 847-246-4421. We also would like for you to join us on our website. That's israelschurch.org. israelschurch.org, where you can follow us on Facebook, and you can also look at some of our previously recorded videos on YouTube. And for those that are viewing our YouTube channel, we would like for you to subscribe and like our channel. For prayer and spiritual counseling, you can see myself or Brother Caleb, or you can give us a call at one of those numbers, 847-636-4792, or 847-246-4421. If you'd like to be baptized, you can see myself or Brother Caleb, or give us a call at one of those numbers. Do we have any more announcements? Okay, that's it. We're going to stand and face Jerusalem, close out. Oh, I'm sorry. We'd like everybody to pray for Sister Jerry. Her mother's in the hospital, and also we'd like for everybody to pray for my family, Audrey's family, and the passing away of her auntie. And your first cousin too? Oh man, I didn't know that one. Okay, so let's pray for everybody. Amen. All right, let's close out.
Our Father,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. In Jesus' holy name we pray. Amen.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.